Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. You know, nobody is better than Monday Night Raw at being the absolute worst television show on all of cable. There is not one show that is any worse. SmackDown's pretty bad. Raw's got them beat. Every single pay-per-view they produce sometimes has potential, sometimes can be entertaining. That is never the case when it comes to Monday Night Raw, and you can't tell me I'm lying when I just sat through 3 hours that accomplished absolutely nothing and has shown us nothing that we hadn't seen before outside of another match for Keith Lee during his debut week in the WWE. And aside from that, there was nothing that you haven't seen before, and we are going to talk about all of that and so much more right here, right now. My name is Nick Nightmare. You are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Monday Night Raw review and reaction show. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
You know, one of the reasons why Monday Night Raw gets me so pissed off, especially in tonight's situation, is that they actually tried to do something that did make some sense. We don't have a challenger for Drew McIntyre. He very easily got rid of Randy Orton. That story should be done and over with. But instead, we sat through 3 hours where they had a good idea, where they were going to take 3 singles matches. The winner of those singles matches will be put into a triple threat match, and the winner of that triple threat match becomes the new #1 contender. That is a great concept. The problem lies in 2 places. 1, the competitors that they chose for these matches, and 2, the fact that they had the triple threat match on the same show. That's absolutely ridiculous to me. You want to have people tune in, you want to raise the ratings, you do something like you set up a triple threat match, and then you have that triple threat match next week. But I don't think anybody would have tuned in when they found out who won these triple threat matches, or they were lucky that people stuck around once they announced who were in these singles matches to determine who moved on to the triple threat. Keith Lee just got there. I am a huge Keith Lee fan, but there is not one single logical reason why the man should be immediately put into contention for the WWE Heavyweight Championship. He's only won 2 matches. 2 matches. The first match he won was against Randy Orton last night at Payback. He beat Randy Orton in 7 minutes. And now, tonight on Monday Night Raw, they give him Dolph Ziggler? Dolph Ziggler. Why is Dolph Ziggler in contention for the WWE Championship? Why? Do you know why? Because it's in his contract that Dolph Ziggler must face and lose to every single NXT call-up that is brought up to the main roster. Instead of being called the show-off, Dolph Ziggler should be called the show-up and loser. Because that's his job. Unless he's being put on the Raw Underground, where he could be a badass, where all the losers go to look like winners, and then they come back to Monday Night Raw and get beat. But the fact that it took Keith Lee almost twice as long to beat Dolph Ziggler than it took him to beat Randy Orton on pay-per-view, that's something wrong right there. That's just forced and ridiculous booking. And you knew Keith Lee wasn't going to win this match, so there was no reason to put him in a situation where he's going to be in a match that he's not going to win. Right now, it should be all about build Keith Lee and rise him up to the top. Not show him beat somebody that anybody could beat, somebody that everybody beats, and oh yeah, now he's going to be in a triple threat match, and then he's going to go on to lose that match. Why is he losing any matches? Sure, he didn't get the pinfall. Well, he didn't get pinned, miss, and it doesn't matter. You lost. When you don't win, you lost. And booking Keith Lee in these losing situations does not help his momentum remain sustained. It does not help bring him to the top of the mountain. Let's talk about the top of the mountain. Who else is at the top of the mountain? Randy Orton. Randy Orton, who just lost to Drew McIntyre. now beat the hell out of Drew McIntyre, put him off TV, right? He's getting rewarded for his actions by being put into this singles match mini tournament of sorts, and he's going to face Kevin Owens. There's a logical choice. Kevin Owens, somebody that has been grossly underused on Monday Night Raw, grossly underused by the WWE as a whole. And we're going to get Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens, but that's not what happened. I already knew what was going to happen when they announced the match. Oh, Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. The back of my head immediately lit up and said, well, Captain Aleister Black is going to show up with his peg leg and his hook, and he's going to cost Kevin Owens this match somehow. And the way they went about it was even worse. They still made Kevin Owens look like a jackass, because instead of having Kevin Owens and Aleister Black just brawl to the outside, the match never gets started. Randy Orton wins by forfeit because Kevin Owens decides to fight all over the Thunderdome with Aleister Black for the rest of the show. Instead of doing something cool like that, they threw Kevin Owens in the match post the attack from Aleister Black, acting like Aleister Black is the Incredible Hulk and that he was just completely destroyed on the outside, serves himself up to Randy Orton to give Randy Orton the win to move on to the triple threat match. So while this was the one match where the two contestants sort of made sense, it was booked terribly and did nothing good for Kevin Owens. And at the end of the day, Randy Orton was going to win this match no matter what, because the WWE is useless. They are useless, and they don't know what they have right in front of their faces, that they're just going to keep giving us the same feuds over and over and over again, setting Drew McIntyre back on course with Randy Orton, making everything Randy Orton has done with Keith Lee over the last 2 weeks absolutely moot. It doesn't matter anymore, because Drew McIntyre is going to have to get revenge for himself. And you gave Keith Lee a win over Randy Orton. Great. He should be winning matches like that. But now Randy Orton's getting championship matches, being put in contention. He just lost. Like, none of it makes sense. And then the one that makes even less sense was the third match. Now, I know this match was kind of impromptu because we were supposed to get Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio as the third match in the series of this mini tournament, but instead it was revealed to us that Rey Mysterio torn something. I think he's torn his tricep or a bicep or some kind of sep. Who cares? Rey Mysterio got beat down by Retribution last week, and now he's friggin' injured this week. He can't compete in the match. So what did they go and do? They did what only the WWE would do, and they took a rookie kid, a kid that has wrestled 4 times in the last 10 days on nationwide television and on pay-per-view, has only won 1 match, and I don't think it was on his own, and put him in a match versus the Monday Night Meshuggah so that he can have a shot in place of his dad for the World Heavyweight. What is Dominic Mysterio doing anywhere near the World Heavyweight Championship title picture? And you want to tell me, oh, well, it's important that Keith Lee was there. He deserves. Well, then what the hell makes it so important for Dominic Mysterio? Why is he in there? Why is he even a thought? Why does Seth Rollins have to prove himself against somebody he's already beaten? And then here's the biggest problem. Okay, not just the fact that Dominic Mysterio shouldn't be even thought of when it's come to the WWE Championship right now. But like I said, this kid has wrestled. He's only been brought up to the main roster, 5-6 weeks ago. He has wrestled a handful of times. And it's obvious that he only knows what he knows. He's not ready for Monday Night Raw. He's not ready for main events and world championships when the kid's got about 6 moves in his repertoire. The same 6 moves that we have seen in every match over the course of the last 2 weeks. And this is not his fault. This is their fault. because you're overbooking this kid. You're putting him in too much too soon, and it makes it obvious when we are seeing the same sequences in every single match. He does his little tilt-the-world DDT. He does the Rey Mysterio 619. He does that little jump on the top rope splash thing he does, and then of course he's going to do Uncle Eddie's frog splash. The kid's got 6-7 moves he goes to. These are the moves he's probably the most comfortable with because he's not WWE ready. He hasn't even had a nickel in NXT. That's where Dominic Mysterio belongs. He had his moment in the big time. Time to move on from this shit. We're still watching Seth Rollins and his greater good versus the Mysterios. It's been how long since WrestleMania? And the same goes true with the rest of the show. Every single matchup tonight is just the same thing we've seen week in and week out with no progression. None. Zero progression forward. It's as if you were watching whatever your favorite show is, right? Let's say right now we're binge watching and catching up on Stranger Things. I didn't get into it when it was the fad, but I'm kind of getting into it now. But I'll tell you this much, if every single episode was the same 4 kids doing the same 4 things in the same place every week and nothing happened differently and everything was exactly the same week after week after week, that's not a television show that I'm going to watch. It just doesn't make sense to me how they have no forward plan. How are we still watching the Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Andrade? And how is it possible that in this feud, we still don't have any Bianca Belair? You got Zelina Vega out there with her sexy men. Now you got this stupid bachelorette chick that won't go away. She's got more TV time than half the members of the Raw roster that deserve to be on TV. She was on Raw tonight longer than Kevin Owens was on Monday Night Raw. Bianca Belair didn't even make TV tonight, but they got room for Debbie What's-Her-Face. Or Demi, who gives a shit what your name is, Bachelorette. What does she have to do with pro wrestling? Why is there a cross-promotion between these two things? Why? Because she's on fucking USA? You gotta ruin the rest of the fucking wrestling show because she's on a USA sister show or whatever you want to call it? Is the Bachelorette even on USA? Why is she there? Why is she still there? I understand showing up one time for a little promo spot, getting a little light on your little show or whatever the hell it is. I don't even know what they're doing. What is she doing? They don't really tell you why she's here, why she's there, but she's on TV more than Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair, who is the wife of Montez Ford, who is actually part of this feud. And this little chickadee is nobody. She actually likes Eric from the Viking Raider Warrior Loser Raiders. But she's out there because Angel Garza likes her. This is what they think is good TV? How many wrestling fans do you think watch The Bachelorette? I certainly don't. Why is this a priority? I don't understand it. The night ends with this triple threat match having Randy Orton win. Okay, so you have Keith Lee in there, he loses. You got Seth Rollins in there, he's taking a big L, so that Randy Orton can be placed in a rematch that he already had. He said he was entitled to the rematch. He's not wrong. You lost, you should usually get a rematch. But isn't that only when you are the champion? When the challenger loses, you just lost, bro. You get to the back of the line. If Drew McIntyre lost to Randy Orton, now we're talking about rematch clauses and entitlement to a rematch. He feels entitled just because he's entitled, because he's Randy Orton, and he's the son of Bob, and he's the legend killer. And we're still singing this. They're singing this same song. And now it's just going to be Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre again at Clash of Champions. As if none of us seen that coming. But in order to get there, we had to see another Seth versus Dominic Mysterio match. We had to see Dolph Ziggler on Raw again. And we had to see Kevin Owens made to look like a jackass. And that's just the tip of the iceberg for tonight's stupid-ass episode of Monday Night Raw. I swear to God, man, if I ever find the people that write this show, I am going to take this hammer and I am going to knock some sense into each and every one of them. You know what? Let's not even go violent. I will sit them down in a room and teach them about wrestling, because you don't know about wrestling. You can't just be a TV writer and write a wrestling show. That's how we got into this problem in the first place. Because Vince don't hire fans. Vince don't hire people in the wrestling business anymore. He wants people from fucking Hollywood. And that's why we're getting stupid vignettes with the Street Profits giving us some sort of a stupid scouting report on a team that they've beaten 6 times already. Just to make some corny-ass jokes and to give short jokes to Zelina Vega for being so small. She can't get on the rides at the amusement park. Ha 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 ha! How funny is that? Not funny at all. It's fucking stupid. Just like a majority of this show. We had to see Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax on the show tonight because they won the World Tag Team Championships for the women's division. And you know what they started to do? They turned them into Team Hell No. You got them both claiming that they are singularly the tag team champion. Nia Jax said, I am the tag team champion, and you're just holding the other belt for me. Were you not around for that whole thing with Daniel Bryan and Kane, or is this just a case of WWE repeating themselves because they don't know what to do? They have another odd couple pairing that shouldn't be together in the first place, a team that doesn't get along. What's next? Dr. fucking Shelby and therapy sessions? I don't want to see this shit. I don't want to hear it. This is a gross waste of Shayna Baszler's talent, and it is a gross waste of WWE Championship gold, putting it around the waist of Nia Jax, whose biggest claim to fame is being the biggest botch machine, literally and figuratively, in the entire company. Nia Stacks, Nia Snacks, whatever you want to call her, she does not deserve to be in the position that she is in. And now they're playing her up as the main attraction. Shayna Baszler's trying to do her interview with Sarah Schreiber, Renee Young 2.0 in the back. And Nia Jax is just shitting all over her. Screaming, acting like a jackass. Not letting anybody get a word in edgewise. And then Asuka comes into frame for some reason. Which made no sense, just so that they can have all the belts on screen again. Because we got so used to seeing Sasha and Bayley and the tag team titles. So we had to have all the titles on the screen at one time. Is that why we wrote this up? Because the Raw Championship missed the tag team titles so much, they wanted to be together in the same scene. Useless. Absolutely useless. As useless as Adam fucking Pearce and his ridiculous WWE security team that look like they're all about 12 years old and couldn't fight their way out of a schoolyard brawl. He's the MVP of Monday Night Raw now. He was all over SmackDown. Now he's the MVP of tonight. He wants Retribution to be stopped. And I'm sitting there going, Retribution, they went on vacation, didn't they? They didn't show up on SmackDown. They weren't around for Payback. They didn't do shit at SummerSlam. But all of a sudden, oh, Retribution, we got to protect Raw from Retribution. Absolutely ridiculous. Adam Pearce is now a main character in the WWE. That's how bad things have gotten. We had an in-ring interview for Asuka. Why are we doing these? Asuka can't speak. She can't do it. To an American audience and to English-speaking audiences, this is an entire waste. And it is embarrassing to us to watch her stumble across what the WWE wants her to say. She doesn't have to say shit. She is one of the greatest women's champions to ever walk the face of the earth. She speaks with her fists and her feet. She don't need to be this cartoon character. She needs to just be Asuka. But it gets infinitely worse. We see Mickie James comes out to the ring. Now, Asuka needs a challenger. They have nobody ready to go. Bianca Belair is not ready. They don't even put her on TV, let alone give her championship opportunities. The rest of the women on the show are all embroiled in some sort of a tag team nonsense thing, and Sasha and Bayley, that ship has sailed. I guess they didn't take part in Monday Night Raw tonight, which is fine. We got a little break from that, but we'll get to that on Friday, I'm sure. So who else is there? Who else is there? Well, you go to the legend, you go to Mickie James, and I'm sitting to myself going, they've been shitting all over Mickie James for 2 weeks. They put her in a program with two of the worst talents on the roster right now. Two of the most underwhelming and overly used talents on the program, Lana and Natalya. So it's only a matter of time before these two come out and ruin everything, which is exactly what happened. Mickie James wanted to challenge Asuka. Asuka thinks she's ready for Mickie James. Mickie James thinks she's ready for Asuka. And of course, Lana and Natty come out for reasons, I guess. I can't figure out what reasons, because Natalya shouldn't be anywhere near the Women's Championship anymore. She should be more near the Hall of Fame than anything else. And Lana, you thought Dominic Mysterio was bad? Putting Lana in championship contention is 1,000 times worse. This girl couldn't wrestle her way out of a paper bag. She's cringy on the ears. I just can't stand this character, and the fact that she's walking out with Lana Day on her tights while the guy whose day it really is sitting at home on Twitch and decided to walk away from wrestling, that just makes me want to mash her in the face. Like, don't wear his thing. He's gone. Lana Day was not a day. Rusev Day was the day. Aiden Day wasn't a thing. Lana Day wasn't a thing. Rusev Day was the thing. Nobody in their right mind chanted Lana Day, unless they were a 12-year-old virgin who never felt a tit before. Mickie James gets interrupted by these two clowns, and we all thought we were in store for a Teddy Long special, turning this into a tag team match, but instead we got a singles match, which I don't know why Lana had to fight Mickie James. Mickie James easily beats this girl. 3 minutes this match got. Mickie James continues to be disrespected and booked horribly on this, what could be her probably last run in the WWE, and I wouldn't blame her for leaving. She's definitely being punished for the fact that her husband is the NWA World Champion, I'm thinking. Or I don't know what it is. Maybe Bruce and Dunn and Vince just don't think she's as attractive as the rest of us do. She's not pretty enough. She's not as pretty as Lana. She's not blonde. She don't fit the criteria. Fucking awful. Absolutely awful. Randy Orton's defeated Kevin Owens in 15 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to the interference of Ahab, Captain Black Arg. Fucking ridiculous way to use MVP, and the VIP lounge needs to go away. These guys have done nothing but lose for weeks and weeks and weeks. The Apollo Crews versus the Hurt Locker storyline with Cedric Alexander and Ricochet on the sidelines, it has zero interest. And it has not really moved at all. It's just instead of MVP holding the championship, now Bobby Lashley has the championship, which he actually won from Apollo Crews. And Apollo Crews wants his title back. Like I said, former champion getting a rematch seems like a no-brainer. But what needs to happen is Bobby Lashley needs to beat Apollo Crews, and they need to move on from this. Because it's not going anywhere. It's stale. It's stagnant water. And I'm tired of seeing it. There was nothing interesting happening here. We got a 6-man tag. Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin lose, by the way, once again, because, that's what they do, to Cedric Alexander and the Viking Raider Warrior Raider losers. Who was nice to see them actually get a win for once. Even though it had nothing to do with them, and that Cedric is the one that got the win with one of many roll-ups once again on this night. A complete and total waste of time. Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan were taking on the Iconics tonight, and suddenly there was a stipulation, and quite hastily, I might add, that the losing team is going to be split up, and the winning team will be the number one contenders for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Considering that there are no other tag teams besides the Riot Squad and the Iconics, what else could they possibly do? Put together two other singles women that have never teamed together before to go up against this random teaming of Shayna and Nia, who are now the world champions? This was obviously what they were going to do. And I was praying, literally praying that it was going to be the Iconics. And for once, my prayer was answered. The one good thing that happened on tonight's episode is that the Iconics are no more. Ruby and Liv defeated the Iconics. It only took them 3 minutes to do so. 3 minutes. But the Iconics are no more. And I know that might hurt some of you out there. I know I have a few fans of this show that really, really love the Iconics. I don't know why, but, to each their own. And that's fine, but we will never have to see them as a team again. The reason for this that I have been seeing and that I have read is that Vince McMahon apparently is very high on Peyton Royce. He likes her, but he don't like Billie Kay, which I think is a pretty general consensus amongst most wrestling fans. But when you think about the tag team division for the women, not that I wanted the Iconics to stay a team, but breaking up teams during this time when you need as many teams as possible just seems a little bit illogical. It seems rushed, and it seems a little bit forced, especially given that these two idiots in the Iconics show up in the Raw Underground later this evening, and Peyton Royce throws Billie Kay to the Wolves with, no warning. There's no reason for any of this. They gave us no story. They just rushed this instead of showing the slow combustion of the Iconic duo. They just wrapped it all up in one night. Oh, by the way, if you lose tonight, you're not a team anymore. Boom! And now that's what happened. Not necessarily a bad thing for me personally, because I couldn't stand them as a team. That act was just as boring as everything else on this show and definitely needed to change up somehow. But I didn't think this was going to be how they went about it. And if you think Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan have a chance against Nia Snax and the Shayna Baszler attack, hit me up with a comment right now or smash that thumbs up, because I think they have a chance. I don't think they're going to win, but I definitely think they'll at least have a chance here. Seth Rollins came out and he did a little promo on Buddy Murphy. He's mad at Buddy Murphy because Buddy Murphy kicked him in the face last night during his match with the Mysterios, costing him the match. Who cares? Who cares at all? And it just seems to me that every faction or every team or every single pairing or duo in this company, never mind on this show, in this company, are feuding. Angel Garza and Andrade aren't getting along. You got now Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy not getting along. It's happening everywhere. Cedric is being mind-gamed, so we don't know what's going on with them. Asuka and Kairi were just, broken up. Sasha and Bayley are fighting. Shayna and Nia. It's everybody. Can we do something original with one of these storylines, or are we just going to copy-paste everything like we copy-paste the script from week to week? So he was all pissed off at Buddy Murphy and said he can't have that happen this week. He's got a world championship on the line. So he slaps Buddy Murphy in the face. Buddy Murphy leaves. Seth Rollins goes on to challenge Dominic Mysterio in a 10-minute long match where we've seen him do everything that he's done every other time we have seen him. And like I said, this is not the kid's fault. It's not the kid's fault at all. They should know his limitations. They should know not to overbook him. Especially, are they not watching the matches themselves? Do they not see the repetitive nature of these matches? It's to be expected. The kid's brand fucking new. He's greener than the Money in the Bank briefcase. Just because he's the son of a former superstar doesn't mean he should be in this position. He played his part in the story. Everything should be finished and progress to the next line right now. Rey Mysterio can't compete? Oh well, Rey, you're out. Dominic, you're going back down to NXT. Seth Rollins, we're going to move you on to somebody else. How many times are we going to see the same shit and hear the same promos? And now how many times do we have to see Angie and Ray staring at a TV watching their little boy get his ass beat by Seth Rollins? It's just the same old shit. Same old shit. Then we went to the Raw Underground, which means it was time to turn the TV off. I seen Titus O'Neil. I got one look at it, and I was like, no. No, we're not doing this again. I'm not going to pay much attention to anything that happens in the underground. I don't understand what it's all about. It's got that weird porn music in the background. Are we fighting or fucking? What are we doing here? I can't tell when I'm looking at the screen. I just see one body on top of the other, and I hear bow, 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 chicka, wow, wow. Fuck out of here with this underground. That needs to die quicker than anything else on the show, even faster than Retribution. The underground needs to go away. It's doing nobody any good. Watching Shane McMahon and a bunch of buddies sweating their balls off in the basement is not my idea of a good time. I don't give a shit if the Hurt Locker come down there and want to act like tough guys. I don't give a shit that you got Jessamine Duke in there. I don't give a shit about Marina Shafir. We have no reason to. Nothing that went on here was any good. And I don't care about half of the shit that went on. Non-title match for the Tag Team Championships. Non-title match. Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits, versus Andrade and Angel Garza ended in a no contest because Retribution decided to wake up. What, were they all asleep in the van in the back? They've been out of commission for days. Nobody's seen them all weekend. Now all of a sudden they're going to come to Raw and be completely random. Last time we seen them, they were attacking the Mysterios. Now they're going to interrupt the Tag Team Championship match. Well, a Tag Team title match that the championships weren't on the line for. Whatever. I'm so hot and bothered by it that it just makes me mumble and confuse my words. I can't believe we had to sit through this again. How many times do the Profits have to beat these two for them to go away? And having Debbie, what's her fucking shit name out there, didn't do anybody any good. Just a distraction. Retribution comes out after the lights flicker. Oh, the lights are flickering. Ooh. And then Angel Garza takes little Blondie B and gets her the hell out of there. Next thing you know, Retribution is attacking the Street Profits. They're attacking Andrade. Zelina Vega's like, whatever, I'll throw it down. She's the toughest person on the Raw roster. The only person that I've seen on the Raw roster in weeks with any fire against these clowns in masks. And another week goes by. Nobody's unmasked. You don't have to unmask the whole group. One at a time. Have the World Tag Team Champions accost one of these guys. And then together with Andrade and Zelina, unmask the first idiot. Progression. We are not seeing any progression. If anything, we're seeing a degression here with Retribution. They showed up setting shit on fire, throwing shit through windows, flipping over cars, chainsawing rings to pieces, and now they're just jumping people and running. What a huge-ass step backwards. Not worth our time at all. Absolutely ridiculous. After this, they showed Adam Pearce again. He is all pissed off. Oh, you're supposed to be my security. You let these idiots in. You guys get out your public. Stop it. Why are we wasting time watching Adam Pearce yell at a bunch of nobodies? For Retribution? They didn't come back for the rest of Monday Night Raw. There was no reason for it. And the longer this goes on, the less I care. And I know you do as well. We went back to the Raw Underground, so again, I turned shit off because I don't give a damn. Then we had the number one contenders triple threat match. Randy Orton defeats Keith Lee and Seth Rollins in a 10-minute long main event that should have been at least 20 minutes, considering the 3 talents involved, the caliber of the men involved, the anomaly, the limitless Keith Lee, former NXT champion, the legend killer Randy Orton, and multiple-time former champion, Monday Night Messiah, Monday Night Man Bun himself, Seth Rollins. Guy don't like me. He's got me blocked. I don't like him all that much, character-wise. He's too much of a little girl. He takes everything personally. But Seth Rollins, the character, I don't like it. But I would understand if they would have went with Seth Rollins here. Just to change it up. Drew versus Seth is more appealing to me than another round of Drew versus Randy. But Randy Orton winning this match is nothing more than WWE just going back to the start. Again, I say no progression. Nothing is different. And you spent 3 hours of my time tonight to set up this match to give me a rematch that we were going to get anyway because Randy was entitled to it to begin with. What a piece of shit this show was from start to finish. Poop hammers all around. Absolutely a waste of every single one of our times tonight. The main event was kind of a nice match. You know, like I said, the caliber of the talents involved made it so that it wasn't going to be a bad match. But the winner at the end left a lot to be desired. I don't have anything against Randy Orton, personally. I think he's one of the best heels in the business. But we just seen this dance. Can we see something else? Anything else? Something different? Anything at all? I'll take it. I'll take it. And stop calling people up from NXT just to fucking ruin them in the end. That's it. That's all I got for you tonight for this Monday Night Raw review. It was such a hard 3 hours. Way worse than what I had to sit through tonight last night at Payback. And if you missed the review of Payback, the hammering of that pay-per-view is available now up in the annotations right above my head over here. Click that and get to it. Before you do that, if you enjoyed today's show, if you agreed with anything I had to say, hit that thumbs up right now and show your appreciation as a loyal Sledgehead. It really helps out the show. And then please drop a comment. Let me know what your worst moment of the night was. What did you dislike the most about this show? I want to know what it is. Hit me that comment in the comment section. You know I'm always looking for you guys, and I respond to as many as I possibly can. Share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they need to know everything that went wrong with Monday Night Raw tonight. And most importantly, if you're not already a member of the army that we are growing day by day, one subscriber at a time. It's slow, but slow and steady wins the race, ladies and gentlemen. And one day we are going to be amongst the top echelon of the people that do this on this platform. They like to ignore me. Even the ones that I consider my friends. They all ignore me. They pretend I'm not here. They use my words and they use my quotes and stuff. And they never give me credit, and that's okay. That's okay. I don't want credit, and I don't want your scraps. But I would like to feel like I'm here. At least in the conversation. It's been 4 long years that I'm sitting here doing this with you guys. And I'm among the best when it comes to being truthful with you guys. I don't sugarcoat it. I don't suck the cock of the WWE. And I'm not trying to be anybody else. We are 100% original. Hammer swinging and just lethal. Absolutely lethal when it comes to WWE. And that's why you come to me, because you guys know. And I know you know. And that's why I love you. You guys are the Sledgeheads of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you are not already a member of this nation that we're growing here. Because we're going to be the best. And it's all thanks to you guys. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notifications, so that every time I drop a video and we bring the hammer down on something, you will be immediately notified. And then get your ass over here and watch with the rest of your Sledgehammer brothers and sisters. My name is Nick Nightmare. You guys already know that. This is the team, Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, his tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball, the most important member of the team, as always, each and every one of you. That, my friends, is going to do it. We are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Boom.